just doing a video on this M&P 1522 and what I think about it, as well as how I have it set up. So let's just go ahead and get right into it. So first off, for those of you that don't know what an M&P 1522 is or what kind of rifle it is, it's made by Smith Wesson, and it's basically just their version of a AR-15 style 22 rifle. So it shoots 22 LR, which is pretty small little bullet, but it's a lot of fun, and it's cheaper than shooting your 5.56 or 2.23 that you would normally shoot out of an AR. And so what's fun about this is that it looks and functions just like an AR-15 or an M4, that style rifle, but it shoots 22. So you can get a lot of training in just to kind of practice this type of platform. Without it, it's costing you as much money. Obviously, it's not the exact same because it doesn't have the same recoil, and so that kind of changes certain things. But it's a lot of fun, and mainly I have this gun just kind of as a fun plinking gun. It's not something I would like put by the bed for home defense or anything like that, but it's definitely a fun gun if you just want to build a really fun gun to take out to the woods and shoot around. I'm going to start off by showing you guys what's on the gun and how I have it set up, and then I'll talk about how I think it ranks when it comes to like reliability and how much fun it is and that kind of thing. Anyways, so to start off, we're going to talk about the scope. This is a Leupold 2:7 variable power scope. So all the way to the left, you're at 7 magnification, and then all the way to the right, as low as it gets, you're at 2 times magnification. I normally like to keep it between 2 and 4, just because it gives you the most, I guess, the most flexibility when it comes to shooting far and getting decent zoom, but also being able to shoot at things that are closer without being too zoomed in. But it's super reliable. If you've ever owned a Leupold scope or ever watched a review on one, you'll just hear people rave about them because Leupold's known for their very high quality glass, so everything's super clear and it's very reliable. Even if they're lightweight, you can drop them on the ground multiple times or whatever, even with the rifle on, like upside down, and they typically just keep on going. You don't really have to worry too much about them. But anyways, just for fun, in case something did happen to this and I wanted to pop it off quickly, I have it on these UTG quick detach scope rings. So I'll show you guys right here. You just flip these two and that's off of there. So as you can see, that's how that goes. Definitely a good scope there. But for backup, I have these Magpul M-Bus sights. They're made of polymer, so they're lightweight. That's kind of one thing that's nice about this rifle, is the whole thing is polymer, because it's a 22, so they didn't really need to make the upper all steel and all that kind of thing. So it's a fun gun like that, and so I try to pick out things that are lightweight just to keep it more light like that. So that's why I've got that lightweight scope. And then these sights, they're polymer. Anyways, you would flip these up, pushing on either side. So if you were running it the other way, you could still do it on this side. And then, this is on both sides if I had the flashlight on the other side. So anyways, you've got a good front sight post right here. And in the back, what's nice is initially it's got the small hole on it, but if you flip this little thing back, or down I should say, now you've got a larger hole. That way if you just want a bigger hole to aim and just kind of put it on targets like that, and you're not going for as much precision, then you can flip that down and have the bigger circle there in the rear. But I typically just keep the small one there. Anyway, so that's what I've got on here for sights. Okay, so for the rest of the furniture, we're pretty much just looking at FDE, Magpul, everything. I like the idea, obviously it's really popular, but of having a black gun and just outfitting it with tan everything. It looks pretty cool, and so I decided to do that with this gun. We've got a Magpul adjustable buttstock. It's got like different lengths there, so when different size people are shooting it, they can just adjust that to their liking and what fits them. Got the Magpul pistol grip and then the Magpul vertical grip. This one, well, they're both hollow. This one doesn't have a cap. This one does have a cap, which is nice because you can put stuff inside. Right now I've just got an extra CR123 in this little plastic baggie for the flashlight that's on there. But it's cool because for AR-15s and stuff, they make little cleaning kits that you can fit in there perfectly. And I think other things too, that like for internals, if something breaks, you can just pop it out of there and replace it. Next, we'll take a look at the sling. It's also tan and by Magpul. It's kind of the theme for this gun. Anyways, it's really cool. I'll show you guys part of the reason why it's cool. So for one, you've got this, I don't even know what they call it, but this thing here that you can grab to adjust it quickly. Or if you want slack, you just do that. Then you have a bunch of slack. Or to tighten it up, you pull that, and now it's nice and tight to you. See how much tighter it is? Pull that. Now it's super loose. So that's a pretty cool little feature. Also, take this thing off. The way I hooked it up is with this Magpul attachment here. It's meant to attach a sling, and so all you have to do is attach that. Then you've got this ring on there, and these have a little locking mechanism. You click right there, as you can see, and then you just squeeze there and that opens up. So, and this is steel right there, so it really locks in place. And then that, it won't come undone once it's locked. In the back, I just kind of jerry-rigged it. I took some paracord, made this little random lanyard type of thing, and tied that on there. Just thought it looked kind of cool. And then same thing, it's locked on there if I wanted to take it off. Do that. And then lock it back and we're good. But Magpul makes great slings. They're a little bit pricey, but pretty much all good quality slings are a little bit pricey. The last two things to show you on here would just be the rail covers and this little flashlight that I have on here. The rail covers I got at a gun show. It was one of the first gun shows I ever went to before I even owned this gun. And I was buying a scope from this guy. Turned out to be crappy scope. This was before I knew what was good and what wasn't, and he sold me on it. But anyways, I've learned a lot about guns since then, and so I won't be buying cheap scopes from gun shows anymore. So that's my piece of advice for you guys. Regardless of how clear it looks when you're there, and of all the things that they tell you about it, I would go with a brand that you've heard of, that you've seen people review positively online, just because cheap little scopes from gun shows typically don't last. Little things inside just come loose, and then all of a sudden they're not working anymore. But anyways, when I bought this scope, luckily I didn't pay too much for it, and I did talk the guy down a little bit, and he also threw in these rail covers, which at the time I didn't even need because I didn't have a gun that had like a quad rail or anything like this. But I just got him to throw it in, and so I took it. I figured maybe down the road I would use it. And then several years later, which a few years ago is when I bought this gun. Yeah, I've had this for probably maybe 4 years or so, something like that. Anyways, it was like the perfect candidate to throw those rail covers on there just for the sake of looks. I mean, it makes it a little bit more comfortable, but really this quad rail is not sharp or uncomfortable like some quad rails because it's not made of steel. It's made of polymer, so it's already not gonna like chew up your hands like a normal quad rail would. But anyways, it's mostly on there for looks, but like I said, it does give a little added cushion. And they're just like, I'll show you guys, they're just like this rubbery type of material, you see? And they just kind of pop on and pop off. But when they're on there, they're not going anywhere. They're on there pretty tight, so you have to like really grab them and pull. But anyways, I just thought it made the gun look really cool. They were all the same length, but I cut them to kind of fit the areas that weren't going to have anything. So obviously this one I cut to make shorter, and then this one's a little bit longer, but they're all a little bit different. I left this part open and this part open just because I figured the flashlight might have to switch sides here and there depending on who's using it or whatever. So I just left the front open there. But yeah, that's the story of how I got those rail covers. As for the flashlight, I also bought it at a gun show, and I don't even remember. So it's Lumen Force. I think it's a Lumen Force 5. It's not like a very well-known brand, but this I was buying for this gun at the time, and so I just figured I would get something that's cheaper, a little bit more affordable, but still seems to get the job done. And so, let me show you guys. So, what's cool is if you push it all the way, it stays on, as you can see. And I typically hold my guns like this, my rifles. And so it's right here by my thumb. And if you just push it on, it's on. But if you want to just push it a little for like temporary, then that's all you have to do is just tap it in a little. And when it clicks is when it stays on. So anyways, I think this is around 300 lumens. It's actually a pretty good light, and it wasn't that cheap. And you can also use it as like an EDC light if you want. It's got a button in the front if you wanted to switch the brightness level, or if you wanted to just use it with that front button like for EDC in your pocket or whatever. But I also bought this light mount from the same guy, from Lumen Force. And this is, you won't always see me shooting with the flashlight on. Lots of times I take it off. Actually, most of the time when I'm shooting in the day, I don't even bother to have it on there. I don't know why, I should just leave it on there. But anyways, it fits in the rifle case a little bit better when that's not on there. So all you have to do is unscrew this, and then it comes right off. Which, there we go. Comes right off. And then obviously put it on, same thing. Okay, I needed 2 hands to put that back on just because the little thing fell off. But anyways, so that's the setup. I really like this gun, just for having fun and stuff like I mentioned. As for reliability, let me pull up my stats because I do tend to keep track of like how much I've shot through a gun and how many malfunctions it's had and that kind of thing. And if it's based off the ammo, I'll put that. And I'll put what kind of ammo. So let me get those stats real quick. So after double checking on my computer, I've only shot around 650 rounds from here. I guess I haven't shot as much out of this as I thought I have, but it's normally because each time I go out to shoot, I bring a couple other guns, and so I only shoot around 50 rounds from this because I'm shooting other things too. Or I'm just doing a quick video where I only have to shoot a couple rounds out of it. But anyways, I've shot approximately 650. And the only malfunctions I've had were with quiet ammo. I think it's because it has less powder or something like that. And so it was the actual ammo that was causing the issue. And I've never had a single malfunction with any normal 22 LR out of this. And I've shot all kinds of random bulk ammo. And so I don't normally buy high quality stuff. So when it comes to reliability, for a 22 rifle, I don't know if there's really any gun I can put above this for a semi-automatic 22 rifle. I mean, lots of people are going to disagree, and lots of people are going to have their favorites. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people who say the Ruger 1022. I've shot a few 22 rifles, and I do own a Ruger 1022 that I plan on doing a review on. And I absolutely love that gun. It was the first gun I ever owned. But I honestly think that this gun is more reliable just with my experience. And I've shot more out of that gun, so maybe that's what it is. I've shot about 3 times as much from the Ruger 1022 as I have from this one. But that one's given me a little bit more issues. I don't know if it's just the mags I've used or whatever. But this one's only had issues with quiet ammo. That one has had a little bit of issues with other things as well. Anyway, so when it comes to reliability, to me, this is as good as it gets for a semi-automatic 22 rifle. So pretty much, you know, highs of a score as you can possibly give it. And then when it comes to the fun factor, I mean, it doesn't really get much more fun than just shooting a 25 round of 22 out of this thing. That's a ton of fun. So anyways, I would highly recommend this gun. If you don't own a 22 rifle at all, it's pretty much between this and a Ruger 22 in my opinion, but you can't go wrong with this guy. By the way, for those of you that are wondering, it does typically come with a 25 round magazine when you buy it. As you can see, this one's empty, there's nothing in it. For those of you that care, this is empty. I already cleared it beforehand. So, oh, and there's one more thing I wanted to mention. This is the first version of this gun. They've since made a second version. I think it came out in the last year or two. But anyways, the second version, it doesn't have a quad rail like this on all sides where you've got the Picatinny rail on all four sides. It's got, I believe, just M-LOK. So it's got the M-LOK system on all four sides. And I'm sure there's a lot of people who like that one a lot. It's probably slightly slimmer than this. But typically, the reason you would want an M-LOK system is because it's a lot more lightweight, because all the steel from the rails, it adds a lot of weight to the front end of the gun. But, I mean, in my opinion, obviously I don't own the second one, I own this one, so you might think that's why I like it. But this whole thing is polymer anyways, so it's already extremely lightweight. So I like having the quad rail because pretty much any attachment you could possibly think of is going to be made for your traditional Picatinny rail, but not all attachments are made with the M-LOK attaching system. And so the fact that it's already lightweight because it's all polymer, I just think that having the quad rail is better than the M-LOK. You can tell me what you think. This one's already very slim as well. I mean, I don't even have big hands, but as you can see, I can easily get my hand grip on here well, like this, or you know, however I want. But you don't have to have big hands or anything for this gun because it's a lightweight, slim gun as it is. So in my opinion, the first version's better. But you tell me what you think. If you have the second version with the M-LOK, tell me why you think it's better. But that's my reason, at least, for wanting the quad rail for this specific gun. If you like this video, do me a huge favor and push the like button. Subscribe if you like anything that has to do with like guns or outdoors or camping or anything like that. And thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I'll see you guys next time.